PL/SQL, Programming Language for SQL. What is PL/SQL, or Programming Language for SQL? SQL, or Simple SQL Commands, not PL/SQL, is a scripting language. It's a simple scripting language. PL/SQL is effectively an enhanced version of SQL. How is PL/SQL an enhanced version of SQL? PL/SQL is enhanced to the point that it becomes a programming language. PL/SQL is a programming language because it allows dependencies between following commands. And it has modular structure. What makes PL/SQL a programming language? It has modular or block-like structure. There is a form of programming design which involves modularity. Now, what modularity means is that you can include blocks of code within other blocks of code. In other words, one chunk of code can call another, and so on. So you can embed modular structures or blocks within other blocks up to any nested level. The nested levels are generally finite in any programming language, but they're generally enormous numbers. It's not really much to worry about. What you can effectively create is a hierarchy of code blocks where code blocks call other code blocks, which call other code blocks. So a block or modular structure would look something like the diagram shown on the right below. Exception or error tracking is also very important in a programming language. Exception tracking in PL/SQL is fairly sophisticated in that exceptions are localized to code blocks. When there is no exception in a block or a specific exception is not handled, an error or exception is passed upwards to the calling block. If an exception occurs at the highest level of your coded or written PL/SQL code, the error will be passed up to the application which is executing PL/SQL, such as SQL+. The point to note is that exceptions are generally always handled. They're always dealt with. It's a poor programming language that simply remains executing when a horrible error has occurred, because all sorts of other unpleasant things could happen. PL/SQL enforces strict data typing, what is called strict data typing. Generally, scripting languages do not enforce strict data types and data typing, and generally programming languages do. For instance, JavaScript, VBScript, a lot of the front-end web-like programming languages do not enforce strict data typing. Perl, for instance, can be selected to enforce strict data typing, but it does not have to. PL/SQL enforces strict data typing. PL/SQL allows creation and manipulation, mistake and manipulation of variables. PL/SQL has a number of programming controls. By programming controls, we mean things like if statements, case statements, for loops, etc.